Hello everybody, Michael here for Tactica Imperialis. Welcome to today's video. Today's going to be another 8th edition 40k battle report, and it's going to be a big one. It's going to be glorious. So today we're going to be playing 3,000 points of Orks, which is me, versus Necrons and Guard. I know, the poor fluff. I've justified it in my own head, but just run with it, okay? So it's going to be, 3k points, Orks versus a Guard Necron alliance. We're going to be playing the Scouring. We've made a slightly bigger board to compensate for the fact that my army, which is just right there, you'll see it in a minute, is absolutely massive. We're going to be playing the Scouring, as I say, so there's going to be a lot of objectives. We're not going to know quite what they're worth until the end of the game. I'm sure most of you know how the missions go by this point. So, we're pretty much ready to start deploying. We've run through all of the setup. We've done everything I think we need to do. So, without further ado, place your bets in the comments. Can my Orks get their first victory in 8th edition? So let's take a look at the armies, take a look at the board, and then we'll get on with the game. Place your bets. So here's the Ork army I'm going to be using today. It's, I've had to step back quite a long way. It's a very big army. It's pretty much WYSIWYG, so I'll run you through it. Leading the army, we have a Warboss in Mega Armor with Power Claw and a Combi Scorcher, nice and simple. We have a Big Mech with a Kill Saw and a Custom Force Field, and we have a Weird Boy who knows Warpath, which is the +1 attack psychic power. In troops, this is a brigade detachment, by the way, if you hadn't guessed. In troops, we have 30 boys led by a Knob with a Power Claw, 20 boys led by a Knob with a Power Claw, 20 shooter boys with 2 big shooters and a Knob. We have 20 boys with 2 big shooters and a Knob with a big chopper, and then 10 boys and a Knob with a big chopper. Yes, that's 30, 50, 70, 90. That's 100 Ork infantry, ladies and gentlemen, and that's just the troops. We also have 15 grots because I thought I was going to need some objective cappers, so they're just nice and easy, nice and cheap, fill out some points. In elites, I have a 6-man Knob squad, which is perfectly WYSIWYG. So, Combi Shooter, Combi Rocket, 2 big choppers, Power Claw, Boss Knob with Power Claw, nice and simple. We have a Pain Boy who has a Kill Saw because that's a Kill Saw, not a Power Claw. We have 3 Mega Knobs, 2 Combi Scorcher Power Claw, 1 pair of Kill Saws. I actually realised I don't have a 3rd Combi Scorcher, my bad, oops. And then finally in elites, we have 8 Burner Boys who are going to be rocking around in a truck. There is a 2nd truck as well. In fast attack, we have 5 Warbikers led by a Knob with a Power Claw, we have 10 Storm Boys led by a Knob with a Power Claw, and we have 2 Death Copters with their Copter Rockets, Spinning Blades that have all broken because goddamn Death Copters, and Big Bombs because they're free. And then in heavy support, we have a Death Dread with 2 Dread Claws, a Scorcher, and a Rocket Launcher. We have a Gorkanaut. I'm bringing my Gorkanaut out for the first time this edition with its Death Storm Mega Shooter, 2 Rocket Launchers, 2 Twin Big Shooters, and a Scorcher along with the Claw of Gork or possibly Mork. And then finally, we have a Battle Wagon with a Death Roller, 3 rocket launchers, and a cannon. I know that's the only thing that's not WYSIWYG, and I apologize for that, but the kit doesn't come with rocket launchers, and I don't own a Death Roller yet. And like I said, cannon is the big gun. So, that's 3,000 points. As I say, it's a brigade detachment. The Warlord trait I'm going to be running today is the 6+ Fiona Pain, because quite frankly, why would you run anything else 99% of the time? So, let's take a look at the Necrons and the Guard, and then the board, and then we'll get playing. So, this is the first half of my opponent today. This is the Necron Force. Leading the army, we have an Overlord, I assume, with a War Scythe.
Yeah, and Anrakyr the Traveller is...
Proxied in.
Proxied in.
So, yep, Proxy Anrakyr. We have 10... What
Lich
is...
Guard.
10 Lich Guard. Are they Sword and Shield or are they...
All War Scythe.
All War Scythe. Oh, flipping heck. Yeah. So yes, 10 Scythe Lich Guard. So those models with sort of those weapons.
Yeah,
don't ask Proxy. We have 10 Immortals who I'm assuming are Tesla because they're always Tesla.
Tesla,
2 Blocks of Warriors, 15 strong.
215, yeah.
2 15 Blocks of Warriors. 5 Tomb Blades. Particle Casters? Tesla Carbines? Gauss Blasters?
Gauss Blasters.
Gauss Blasters, there we go.
The 2 Gauss Blasters.
Yeah, the Gauss Blasters, and it's broken.
Yeah, its head snapped off on the way here, but it's a Tomb Sentinel.
Tomb Sentinel?
Yeah,
okay. I'll show you this because not a lot of people might have come across the Tomb Sentinel.
Yeah.
So it's a nice tanky monstrous creature, 9 wounds, toughness 7, and it's got some relatively okay guns, and it's got Deny the Witch, which will be kind of useful. So there you go. That is the Necron Force, and if we work across, we have the Guard. So, it's pretty similar to the Guard army that you'll have seen just about eke out my towel last time. So leading the army is Pasca the Punisher with Melters and a Las Cannon. That's an Exterminator with all the heavy bolters in the world. I'm assuming everything's WYSIWYG here. A Basic Rust with a Heavy Bolter.
That's got 3 bolters.
With 3 heavy bolters, got the sponsors this time. A Chimera with Double Flamer. Oh, we've swapped it out, Double Flamer. We've got 2 infantry squads with autocannons, by the looks of it.
And 2 flamers, the grenade launchers flamers.
And flamers, okay. And then we have a veterans squad, or are they scions this week? Veterans with the plasma spam. The Manticore is back, the bane of my existence, because it hides around a building like a coward. A Bane Wolf, which is new, which is one of the Hellhound variants with the chem cannon, so that's nice toxic flames to choke my orcs to death if it can. And then we have a collection of characters, which is actually a very different set to usual. So we've got the Collector's Assassin, we've got the Tech Priest Engine Seer, the Platoon Commander with Plasma Pistol, we've got a Commissar with a Bolt Pistol and Power Sword, a Primaris Psyker, a Master of Ordnance Conversion, and a Company Commander, and a Company Commander with a Bolter. Okay, slightly variant on the guard then, but that is the armies that I'm going to be taking on. Board is set. You guys are going to be deploying starting first, aren't you?
You're starting first.
I'm starting first. Oh yes, sorry, I'm starting first. So we'll get everyone deployed because, quite frankly, I've got so many units to deploy, we could be here for a while. We'll be right back. So here we are ready to go. As you can probably tell, the deployment map was a bit like that because, yeah, that's how my orcs are deployed. So I'm deployed over here. I've got my bikers, my burners, my death dread, my mega knobs, weird boy, shooter boys, block of boys, war boss, pain boy, other block of boys, Gorkanaut, other block of boys in a battle wagon. That's the block with big shooters. That's the block without. That's the 30 boys. 10 boys in a truck. I was fine. I thought I'd forgotten to deploy something. 10 boys in a truck. Storm boys, grot, knobs, Big Mac, and I've already mentioned the battle wagon. So that's me. Over here is a bit less organised chaos. So the Lich Guard have gone full balls to the wall. They're right up front with Anrakyr. We've got a block of warriors there, Immortals, Rust Collection, and Coward Engines here. Guardsman Squad number 1, Guardsman Squad number 2, Officer and Commissar, Bane Wolf, Chimera containing veterans, and Platoon Commander. And it's an Astropath, not a Primaris Psyker. I got that wrong. I apologise. And the Tomb Blades, as far as objective markers go, Objective 6 is over here, Objective 4 is there, Objective 3 is there, Objective 2 is there, Objective 1 is there, and Objective 5 is here. The numbers don't matter for the sake of the game, just when we determine which objective is worth more in the Scouring, which is at the end of the game, it's worth having them numbered so you can just quickly determine which is which. So, how the Scouring works, I'm sure most of you know, is that one objective is worth 4, determined at the end of the game, one objective is worth 1, determined at the end of the game, and the rest are worth 2. First Blood Linebreaker, Slay the Warlord as usual. Who's your Warlord? Pask. Pask is the Warlord. Okay, excellent. So, I actually somehow, despite having an absolute horde of stuff, have deployed first. So I will be taking the first turn unless the Combined Alliance wishes to seize. And they do not. Would you like to use one of your 8 command points to re-roll that? They will not re-roll. So command point wise, they have 8 and I have 12. So this is going to be fun. We will join you at the end of Orks turn 1. Probably nothing will have died because it will just be a turn of general movement in this direction, as I like to say. But we'll be back. Place your bet. Last chance. Here we go. End of Orks turn 1. As predicted, general movement in this direction. The boys here ran because I wanted to get a combo with the war boss to get them run and charge. Unfortunately, despite some shenanigans, I whiffed the charge. I needed an 11. I had the re-roll, but no good. So charge failed. In other news, these guys shooting managed to knock 1 warrior down, which is nice. And in that squad, I think I put 6 down? Put 5 down. So they take a morale check, and they're fine. Okay, so that's fine. Everything else just sort of moved forward. That was mainly the Gorkanaut, and then a couple of snapshots from that squad there did the rest of the damage. So, a bit of a meh turn, but that's mainly because my shooting's a little bit mid-ranged. I get the feeling this is about to happen, and it's going to hurt like hell, but I've then got a big pile of backup to come in and say, hi, you can die now. So, we'll see where we're at, and we'll come back at the end of Guard Crons, turn 1. End of Imperial Necron, turn 1. Unsurprisingly, this entire squad is dead. It took their entire army to do it, and the Lich Guard in combat, and I took 3 down in return. It would have been 4 had it not been for a snarky command point reroll. So, okay, fine. Other news, 8 shooter boys are dead here, 1 boy is dead there, 2 storm boys are dead there, the assassin is there, the tomb sentinel is there, the truck is down on 1 wound, despite taking an artillery bombardment and an exile, and an exile raid to the face. The Gorkanaut is down to 11 after taking, what did it take to the face? A Tachyon arrow from Anrakyr and the Manticore Eagle rocket, and took a las cannon, but it shrugged that off thanks to the custom force field. So yeah, it's down to 11, which could be worse. and we will come back at the end of Orks turn 2. End of Orks turn 2. Mixed results. So the burners proved why burners are amazing, as they came down and pretty much massacred the Tombstalker single-handedly, with a little help from the Meganobs who just kill sword the last wound off. I had to spend a command point to reroll to wound because thank you toughness 7. In other news, general movement in this direction, I killed 1 or 2 immortals, I think, with the bikers. Yeah, 2. And I shot a bunch of Lich Guard to death and then charged them with the boys and the Pain Boy. The Pain Boy was a mistake because they used the command point interrupt and sufficiently massacred him with 2 Lich Guard. Whoops. So he's dead, but the Lich Guard are down to 4 guys, 5 guys even, one of which is wounded. The boys are down to about 20, could be worse. I've decided to try and tie up the Collectors because hitting on 6s is nonsense. So I've decided to tie him up with the Storm Boys as best I can. I've done a wound, I actually got a wound through, but he killed 2 in return. I've killed 2 of the Tomb Blades, thank you very much to the rocket launchers on the battle wagon for that. The Gorkanaut has killed 4 guardsmen, but they don't have to take a morale check for, or 3 guardsmen, but they have to take a morale check for some reason. Oh, there's a commissar around giving them a leadership buff. That makes perfect sense. And that's about it. There was a general smattering of rocket launchers went that way that just failed to wound. I'm regretting this 8x4 board because I should be about here by now to feel comfortable, but I'm here, which probably is bad because most of the objectives are also like, well, there's 2 of them here. It's okay. So First Blood, of course, went to the Alliance because they killed my big block of boys. So they are 1-0 to the good. The objectives currently are just, it doesn't really matter. There's 1 there and 1 there that I can cap. And there might be another one around? No, there isn't. So we will join you at the end of the Alliance turn 2. End of the Alliance turn 2. Ow! So all but 3 shooter boys are dead due to mostly shooting and then 2 ran away. The Storm Boys are down to 4, but they did do another wound to the assassin. The Death Copters are dead. The Bikers are dead. Bloody my will be done. Tesla needs to go die in a hole. Oh, hate that rule. Then again, take a lot of punishment over here to finally get rid of the Biker. The Gorkanaut is down to 7, thanks to Manticore and Past Glass Cannon. But I can top him up by another D3 thanks to the big mech, so it's not all doom and gloom. In here, Anrakyr has been committed. The boys are down to 10 after morale, but thanks to the big chopper going off on 1, the Lich Guard are down to 3 after 3 of them came back. So I've actually killed 5 this turn. So hopefully if I get lucky again for another round, I can actually take that out. And if I can get my War Boss to engage, I might just be able to single out Anrakyr and knock his block off as well. But that's probably pipe dreaming. The Battle Wagon's around there, that's down to 12. That took a little plink off the Gauss Blasters. Sorry, I know people call it Gauss, but my uni calls him Gauss, so I'm going to stick with Gauss. I may have made a mistake down here, committing my Meganobs as well, but I'm hoping that I can get them a little bit up the board because the trucks are a little bit faster than they are. So we'll come back at the end of Orks turn 3. Is an interesting combination, and we will see where we're at. End of Orks turn 3. This happened before. You know the thing about bad starts and then start turning the screw? Well, it's happened again. So the Meganobs embarked on the truck, and that's now been healed up to 3 by the mech. The Weird Boy cast Smite and killed 1 Lich Guard, and did another wound, which is nice. The boys unfortunately whiffed with their attacks. The War Boss charged in, did 2 wounds to Anrakyr, which was slightly unlucky. He made his good invulnerable saves. The Gorkanaut did not much. I think it killed maybe 2 or 3 immortals, and then charged in, killed 7 warriors thanks to its sweeping attacks, who then removed from the front so they weren't in combat, which allowed me to consolidate for free into Anrakyr. Thank you very much. The Battle Wagon disembarked its 20-man squad of boys and then ran over the Bane Wolf. I say it ran over the Bane Wolf. It tried to run over the Bane Wolf and only did 1 wound in combat, 3 wounds at range. Not so bad, could have been worse. Over here, the Tomb Blades have lost 2 guys to the boys and then have killed 2 in return on Overwatch. The Assassin is down to 1 wound and the Storm Boys are down to 2 guys. So if they don't attack with him first, there's a chance he'll die, but it's not confirmed. These boys are here just capping this objective. The Grotzer and the boys are over here. The Burners are going forward. The Deftra did really well. He's got a bunch of mortals. And if you're wondering where they are, they ran off despite a morale check reroll. Unlucky. And about 2 warriors ran off as well. So overall, that little comeback mechanism is on again. The Orks are coming back. I've got decent board control. And we will come back at the end of the Alliance turn 3. End of Necron Guard turn 3. Yeah, you can see it already, can't you? Bomb. So Anrakyr and the Lich Guard, we actually had to kill another Lich Guard because there was a mortal wound spillover thing that we got wrong last turn. So Anrakyr's at full stack wounds instead of being wounded. One of the Lich Guard is dead. But Paskin is bloody 2+ to hit multi-melt, and James actually being good at rolling to wound against toughness 8 meant bomb, up went the Gorkanaut. And then plasma spam here meant bomb went the Death Dread. Wow. The Battle Wagon is fine. It took a small fusillade from over here, but it's fine. The Tomb Blades whizzed over there and did 2 wounds to the Nob Squad, killed 1, no big deal. A chunk of boys are dead, and I'm going to have to spend 2 command points. Ben, can you do my command point dice, please? To keep them on the board, because they lost 10 and there's only 8 of them. 2. And my War Boss has lost 3 wounds, and 2 of that boy squad are dead, so I need to take a round check for them. And I'm going to have to try and take D3 mortal wounds and hope I don't roll a 3+, because the War Boss can just punch the knob. Nope, so they're gone. So, almost all of my inventory is gone at this point, but we're not out of this just yet, because we've still got a little bit of board control, and if I can get the Battle Wagon in position to run those guardsmen over, I might just clear some more space. So, we will come back at the end of Orks turn 4. End of Orks turn 4, in true Orky style, Waaagh the face. Here we go. So, the boys commanded their truck, finally, and threw themselves at the vets. 3 died, but that's no big deal. Initially to check their leadership. So one of them runs away, no big deal. So one of them runs away, but they have killed 7 in return, which means you need to do a really bad morale check. You're -7, so your leadership is about 0.
Yes, it is. So I lose D6.
You only lose 1. Lucky boy. And 1 runs away. So, good, all the veterans are pretty much gone. In one of the most frustrating things in still since like 6th edition, Ork war bosses don't have invulns, which means War Scythe meant death. But I did take the warriors out with me, so it could be worse. They've got Warlord, shame. Your Warlord is Pask, he's immortal, I don't care. Well, he's got like 14 wounds, toughness 8, and there's a Tech Marine Tech Priest right there. He's immortal, functionally. Now, you were complaining Death Rollers were useless last round. Not anymore. 5 dead guardsmen. Thank you, Death Roller. 5 dead. Thank you, Death Roller. Boys charged the assassin. Unfortunately, yes, I killed. Yes, I know it did. Right. The boys charged the assassin, unfortunately failed to hit. He killed 3 in return, but I've got him bogged down again. The Nobs charged the Tomb Blades and completely wiped their faces for no damage in return, which is lovely. The Weird Boy attempted to smite on the Lich Guard and failed, but the Lich Guard is down to 1 wound thanks to some shooting. So it's not too bad. Now, as the game stands, because of the way the Scouring works, we don't know who's winning. We each control-ish 3 objectives. They've actually got 3. I just need to move and I'll get 3. They've got First Blood and Warlord. I've got Linebreaker right now. So it's kind of close, and that 4 objective is really going to decide the game, I think. So we'll come back at the end of Alliance turn 4, and then we'll get ready for the grand finale of the game. End of Alliance turn 4. Yeah, I think the comeback might just be over. So, boys, all dead, flamers for days. This truck is down to 4 wounds, thanks to Ramshackle actually saving me from 2 of them. Thank you, Ramshackle. The Battle Wagon went pop because War Scythes for days, and a Manticore Missile just to make sure. The Nobs lost 3 wounds. The boys lost nothing but did no damage in return because I can't roll to hit anymore. The truck here is gone, so these Mega Nobs are now going at absolute flipping crawl. But if the game goes to turn 5, and that objective, or this objective, turns out to be the 4, and enough stuff is alive to cap this, we might win. We might. Because the problem is, I actually am... You've done this completely by accident, but because of the way you've set up, I can't just flee from combat and blast through there. Because there's literally nowhere for me to go, because that's a solid wall.
I mean, it wasn't on purpose, no.
No, it wasn't on purpose, but you've actually completely...
No room for to go anywhere.
Yeah, so I can't just blast through here to try and get Linebreaker. We need to check exactly where the deployment zones were, because I think they saw...
You are in there.
I'm in there, right. So...
No, it's not. Because it was like here.
9 inches. No, going over here.
Okay, so I am apparently just getting Linebreaker. Well, I mean, I've got another turn to get up there and try and pick it up, so... It's going to be interesting. It's not over. It's bad, but it's not over. We'll come back at the end of Orks turn 5. End of Orks turn 5. Oh, right. Okay, Heavy Flamer killed the assassin, though he made 5 out of 6 invulnerable saves. He was bloody close to living, which is good. The Grots are up on here now, so that's secure. I've just put up a few more units here to secure that. The truck survived again on 2 wounds. Thank you, Ramshackle, from last turn. And I did a few wounds to the Chimera. I did 3 with Smite. Thank you, Weird Boy. And I charged in here. I got -1 to hit for power claws. The amount of 3s I rolled, and then combine that with toughness 8, only got 3 wounds through on the Rust all in. I took 2 wounds on Overwatch. I had to use a command point to keep myself alive on the Overwatch, which was just a little bit silly. But, that Rust doesn't really have anywhere it's legally allowed to fall back at this point. Yeah, he'll have to move some other stuff, and that will give him hit penalties. So, with that being a thing, it's something that needs to be considered. So, with that thing, I've got 4 models within 3 inches of the objective. And they're going to die. But if they don't...
Which they will.
But if they don't...
Which they will.
I'm talking in hypotheticals. I know they're going to die.
Yes, they will.
Unless your dice are as bad as mine. In which case, if I get lucky, really, really, really lucky, then I do have control of that objective. Going into the end of the Orc turn 5, so going into Alliance turn 5, I control, as it stands right now, 4 objectives and have Line Breaker. So, come back to the end of Alliance turn 5. End of Alliance turn 5. Yeah, it took way more guns than I think they were expecting, but the Mega Knobs went down. Bloody Chem Cannon's been rolling really badly all night, and then suddenly 6 hits, wounding on 2s. Great, thank you very much. I lost 2 burners, so I need to do a quick morale check for them. And I lose another one, because of course I bloody well do. No, my leadership's down to 5, I'm fine. Sorry, I'm stupid. My weird boy has taken a wound from a heavy flamer shot, because it rolled a 6 as well. All those boys are dead, but those knobs are fine, so I'm still on that objective, all good. By the way, if you hadn't noticed, all the Lich Guard just came back last turn, when they were down to 1 guy with 1 wound, and then so they, whoop, 5 of them are back. Thank you very much. So, at the end of turn 5, objective control. 1 there, and 1 there. Plays 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. Now, on a 1 or 2, the game ends. The game ends, you don't have a command point to try and force the issue. So...
Which is 1, which is 4.
So, now we need to determine which is which. Now, all the objectives are numbered for a reason. So the objective that is worth 1 point is number 6. That's that one.
Oh, no.
The objective that is worth 4 is number 3, which is that one.
Oh, yes, we win.
So the score is, oh my god, if you hadn't killed the Mega Knobs, that's 1, 5, 7, 9, plays 6. So a score of 9 to 6, it is an Alliance victory. If you hadn't killed that Mega Knob, I just want to say, if either of those models were alive, you would have just lost.
Or if one of the others was the 4, we would have lost.
Yep, it came down to that.
It was pretty close.
It came down to that. Admittedly, that is not a fair reflection on the game.
No.
You have completely wiped...
If we had an extra turn, I think we would have almost guaranteed our victory.
Yeah, you have completely wiped the floor with me, but at the same time, I was stuck fighting Necrons the entire time. There was just a wall of silver that just refused to fall over, and it was just tanks, tanks, tanks. Still hate toughness 8. Still hate toughness 8. Yeah, Necrons are just annoying. They're not bad, they're just annoying, I think is a better word for them. Because they're not doing anything too intolerable aside from those bloody immortals. They're not doing anything too intolerable. They're just annoyingly sticky. And Guard, I mean, I know you were basically just firing tanks all night.
Basically.
And the Manticore, which didn't get to do anything this round because it was out of ammo. But it just like, the only thing that both you two seem to have going for you primarily, is you're just too tough to fall over. Which is really annoying. Because Orks, who hit relatively hard, but not that hard, are quite flimsy as well, because you've got enough high strength to just chop through their vehicles, which is a shame. But I gave a decent account. I mean, there was a turn when things were swinging. Turn 3, things were swinging, and it just didn't swing far enough because you had just enough damage to clear out the Gorkanaut and the truck, and then the War Boss doesn't have an invulnerable save.
The reason why you find toughness 8 so bad is because both the armies you play don't have that good weapons to deal with.
Well, you say that. I mean, I have Fusion, which is the best.
And Rail, right?
And Rail, which are both strength.
Well, they are quite expensive to take them.
They're semi-expensive, but the main reason they're strength 8. They're not strength 9. Yeah, Fusion and Rail. The Rail gun on the Hammerhead is strength 10. Everything else is 8. Oh. And the Rail rifle is strength 6. The heavy rail rifle is strength 8, which makes knocking them over really annoying when you don't roll average, because you roll average. Yeah. I don't, which makes it really hard for me to knock toughness 8 over. Whereas
you're not having strength 9, do you? You don't have a last cannon.
Nope, there is no last cannon equivalent in Tau. In Orks, Now, the problem's not so bad in Orks, because all knobs are strength 5, so they're up to strength 10 with power cores. The problem they have is the bloody -1 to hit. Getting into combat's no big deal. Getting into combat's actually not as bad as you think. It's the -1 to hit, as evidenced with that. Because, oh dear God, the amount of 3s.
Yeah, it is really nice that war size don't give you -1 to hit.
No, they never.
Still give you a lot of extra strength.
Yeah, war size are strength 7's in a weird spot. It's kind of strength 7. I think used to be the sweet spot.
I think strength 8 or 9.
I think 9 now is the sweet spot, really. But I have to say, your Tomb Sentinel didn't live up to the hype, mainly because it got mega knobbed and burned immediately. It got ruined.
It's not that many points. It's a
distraction.
No, I think actually,
actually,
that's I think the main thing I would say about your army. It's point efficient.
Yeah.
Because Pasky's too cheap, the Assassins are too cheap, your Sentinel's relatively cheap, whereas I'm not paying much, but my guys are flimsy enough to make up for it. Like, I'm paying 6 points a boy, and they die like 6 points a model. Whereas Warriors, how what, 14?
12.
12. So 2 Ork boys, they're tougher, better shots, better guns, and they get back up again. They are just so much more value, and that's the thing you've got really good value armies. I think that would be a good reflection on the game. You just get better value out of your units than I do. Plus, by the way, this 8x4 board can go shove it.
Yeah, that deployment did kind of screw you over.
Yeah, if it had been a 6x4 board, I'd have been here. And then I'd have been here.
I mean, even a different deployment, like lengthways, you would have been fine.
Oh yeah, lengthways I could have lived with, but that didn't particularly help. Could have been worse, but that didn't particularly help. So there we go, another defeat for me. My Orks are not winless. I think I have one off camera. No, I tell a lie. My Orks are still winless. Because I proxied them as Witch Cult Dark Eldar as an experiment and won that game. I'm not completely winless because there's a battle report you haven't seen yet that I did win. And I have won a couple of other games. But another defeat today. But I should feel bad because I got absolutely wrecked. But at the same time, I nearly snatched something out of that.
It was really fun.
It was a good game. 3,000 points. The game holds up really well. And to be fair, we've played that game in 5 hours.
I feel 9-6 was a lot closer than...
It's not a fair reflection. I said that.
Yeah, score was not a reflection of the army that's left.
No, not.
You've basically got what, like three groups of stuff left, holding 3 objectives.
Yeah, but if you take away reanimation, for just as an arbitrary number, you take that away, they would be dead at least twice over.
They should be dead even with reanimation. You rolled really badly on those boys.
I suppose I did, and it's just too tough. But we live and learn. So, thank you all for watching. I do hope you have enjoyed today's battle report. If you have any thoughts, do feel let us know in the comments. And I will admit, I made one major screw up. I shouldn't have charged the pain boy. I knew that. That was a mistake. That was a mistake, and I live to regret that. So, thank you all for watching. My name is Michael for Tactica Imperialis with Luke and James. Thank you very much, gentlemen, and we will see you all again. Bye for now.